This is exactly how I would go from working a regular 9 to 5 job to becoming an independent entrepreneur earning $1 million within the next year. I went from making $55,000 annually in a job I couldn't stand to building a net worth of more than $100 million. Along the way, I made plenty of mistakes, but if I had the chance to start over from scratch, this is the exact approach I would follow to reach that level even faster and more efficiently. So here are my 10 steps to help you transition from being a 9 to 5 employee to thinking, acting, and earning like a millionaire. The very first step is identifying your millionaire skill. Ask yourself this question: what do millionaires know that you don't? Here's exactly what I would do. I'd open Google. Google has always been my best friend. In fact, I even have a sticker from one of my team members that says, "Google that," because I say it all the time. Go to Google and search for occupations that create millionaires. You'll find careers like engineer, lawyer, entrepreneur, real estate agent, along with many other professions where people are earning over $1 million each year. Now, create a simple chart. List all of those opportunities, then rate your level of interest in each one on a scale from 1 to 5. Doing this will quickly show you which careers genuinely excite you. Next, ask yourself another important question. Do you already have knowledge or experience in any of these areas? Compare your interests with your current skills and abilities. This process will help you decide which path gives you the best opportunity to become a millionaire. When I was trying to choose my own path, I realized something important. Math wasn't one of my strengths, and I had no desire to spend years going back to school for another degree that would delay my financial goals. Because of that, I chose entrepreneurship. Starting a business was the quickest and most practical option based on both my interests and the skills I already had. You have to figure out what that path looks like for you. Pick something you're genuinely interested in and commit to becoming exceptional at that profession. Your goal is to master the occupation that has the potential to make you a millionaire. The second step is to stop surrounding yourself with broke friends. You'll never become a millionaire if you aren't willing to distance yourself from people with a broke mindset. I still remember the moment I decided to start my business. About 6 years ago, I shared my vision with the friends I had at the time. I honestly expected excitement. I thought they'd ask questions, encourage me, or at least show some interest. Instead, they laughed at me. They made sarcastic comments and asked condescending questions. But honestly, what hurt the most wasn't even what they said. It was how little they cared about this exciting new chapter of my life. They kept talking about the same old stories and the same everyday problems, while I was spending every spare moment becoming a better version of myself. I was learning new skills, staying up late, meeting new people, and building a completely different future that I was incredibly excited about. Yet, they couldn't have been less interested. Your energy is limited. If the people around you don't care about your goals or aren't excited to support your growth, they'll eventually make you question yourself. That kind of negativity can cause you to give up before you ever reach your potential. That's not why you're here. You're here to make this journey easier, and one of the fastest ways to do that is by removing the people who constantly pull you backwards instead of pushing you forward. Once you've created that space, it's time to replace those broke friends with rich teachers. Think about the person you admire most. For me, that person was Elena Cardone. I wanted to become valuable enough, interesting enough, and accomplished enough that she would actually want to spend time talking with me. Then I asked myself a difficult question. Would Elena Cardone want to spend time with the version of Natalie that existed today? The answer was no. So I asked myself an even better question. What does the future version of Natalie need to start doing today so that if I ever get the opportunity to meet her, she'll actually be interested in having a conversation with me? Let me tell you, this advice is only for people who are willing to be completely honest with themselves. Some people convince themselves that someone like Elon Musk or Grant Cardone would naturally want to spend time with them. But if you haven't built anything remarkable or accomplished anything meaningful yet, why would highly successful people choose to invest their time in you? That's a difficult truth to accept. But once you do accept it, you can finally start taking action. One of the most practical things you can do is identify the 10 most successful people in the field you've chosen to pursue. Find the people who have already achieved the level of success you want, then study everything you can about them. For me, I chose to study the Cardones. They had the results I admired. They were a successful power couple. They had already built a $1 billion net worth, which was my long-term goal, and they were building that success together. Those factors made all the difference for me. That brings us to step number 4. Stop wasting your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. Every morning, every evening, every weekend, while you're driving, working out, or even taking a shower, you should be using those moments to educate yourself and develop the skills you're learning from the very best in your industry. For me, that education came through podcasts, YouTube videos, and books. I spent nearly every waking minute learning because I understood one simple truth. If someone else already knows something you don't, all you have to do is learn what they know. That's the shortcut. The problem is that most people learn from the wrong people. They never decide what they're aiming for in the first place, and many don't even believe becoming a millionaire is possible. Because of that, all their effort gets wasted. Then they waste even more time. They binge Netflix, they spend hours scrolling endlessly through social media. If becoming a millionaire is truly your goal, then your social media feed should mostly consist of millionaires. Stop spending your attention on content that doesn't help you become more capable. If you genuinely want to succeed in your chosen field, you have to become an expert. You need to understand the terminology, the principles, the key players, and exactly how the game works. You must become a dedicated student of the industry you've decided to master. Step 5 is probably the hardest one for most people to accept. Go into debt. In other words, be willing to invest. Once you understand that money is simply a tool designed to help you reach your goals, not something that's only meant to sit safely in a savings account, your entire perspective changes. Suddenly, opportunities begin opening up. Investing gives you access to rooms filled with people who have already accomplished what you're trying to achieve. Without making those investments, even if it means taking on some debt, you'll continue living the same routine. You'll stay in the same house, drive the same routes, spend time in the same environments, and keep doing exactly what you've always done. You'll never challenge yourself to become someone capable of operating at a higher level. The uncomfortable part is that nobody wants to invest before they know how to make money. But the reality is that learning how to make money requires investing first. Grant Cardone has one of my favorite quotes. If you don't invest time and money, you'll never have time and money. Think about it this way. A $10,000 investment in a mastermind isn't what keeps someone broke. What's actually keeping them broke is not having access to the knowledge, relationships, and strategies that exist inside that mastermind. If you never gain access to those teachings, how are you supposed to learn them? The very first time I invested in myself, I spent $4,000 on a marketing course. The truth is, I didn't actually have $4,000 to spend, but I knew I needed people to know who I was. I understood that if I wanted to grow my business, I had to learn marketing and promotion. I remember attending a women's event where every speaker completely inspired me. I was sitting there thinking, one day I want to be on that stage. I wasn't there